already know that when the judge is in, the verdict is out. That's right. I am back with another episode of The Verdict. And today we're going to be talking about how Black families, your closeness to them, how it can affect a relationship, how it can make or break your relationship, depending on how close you are. If you're not close to them, what that looks like, and how we can maneuver through these things. We're going to talk about it today. Before we get into anything, we have to do a PSA. I want to let you guys know that the Verdict Podcast is for mature adults only. This is for an audience that is able to agree to disagree. You have to be 18 years or older. The content is explicit at times. We will use profanity. Anything that I say or anything that I do here on the Verdict Podcast has nothing to do with any other organizations or businesses that I am a part of. The judge stands alone and alone only. Also, make sure you guys go out and purchase my comedy special, The Verdict, on Amazon right now. So let's get into it, you guys. We see this all the time. We see people break up because their mothers or their fathers don't like their mates, or their sisters and their brothers don't like their mates. And sometimes we see people say, fuck that. We don't care who likes our mate. We're going to stay in this relationship. We're going to bond together. We're going to make it happen. And we're going to flourish regardless of the opinions or the people who do not like the mate. And so we're going to talk about it today. And you know, I like to do a little research on the things that I speak about. I don't like to go into anything without the proper research. So we're going to talk about it today. All right, you guys, please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Now, research says that a long-term study of Black and white American couples found that for Black American spouses, close emotional ties with in-laws early in the marriage actually increases the marital stability over the first 16 years. So this means that if the mother likes you, if the husband mother likes you, or the bride mother likes you, or father likes you, then more than likely, you guys are going to have a great sense of stability over the first 16 years. But if not, you guys are going to have some turmoil. But for white American wives, early close ties with in-laws were associated with higher divorce risk, possibly due to blurred emotional boundaries. That's interesting. Okay. Another 16-year longitude study showed that when spouses disagree on how close they were to the wife's family, it predicated a higher likelihood of divorce, regardless of how close either spouse actually felt. Now let's talk about it. A lot of people are in relationships right now with people who their mothers or their fathers just simply disagree with. And we see a lot of back and forth, especially in the Black community. I see specifically from my experiences and the people who I know, I see a lot of times that these families are interjecting themselves into the relationships of their loved ones. They're giving their opinions. They want to be seen. They want to have a say so. They want to tell you how to raise your children. They want to tell you what love is supposed to look like. And a lot of times this can cause issues, especially when it's mothers or sisters getting into relationship issues, because there can only be one queen in the castle. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the Bible says that you're supposed to cleave on to your wife. You're supposed to leave your mother and your father and you cleave on to your wife. That's important. So even though you may allow certain people to have feedback, you only are supposed to care about the feedback of your wife, because you guys are in this together, or your husband. It's you two that have come together to make this relationship last. And so a lot of times you see the women going head up. They're competing for the man's love. They're competing for the man's attention. They're competing. And a lot of times Black mothers simply just don't know how to let their children go. They don't know how to let their sons be men and go on and have a wife and live a life. They don't know how to let it go. Okay. And this caused a lot of controversy in relationships. A lot of times, problems are rooted in how each partner's original family handle conflict. It can shape the marital dynamics. Couples with learned dysfunction conflict styles reported lower relationship qualities. Okay. So couples who avoid things, they don't want to talk about things, they have a lower relationship quality. This is saying that a lot of times we have to face these issues. Your mama don't like me, your daddy don't like me. Okay, they don't have to like me, but you have to step in as a partner and you have to make sure that the respect is there, right? You have to make sure, hey mom, you may not like him, but you can't disrespect him. This is my husband. Hey mom, you may not like my wife, but you can't say those things to her. This is my wife. We have to get order. The people who are in the relationship have to get order within the relationship and with their partners and with their partners' families. We have to get some type of order. The topic today is, for people who are just coming on, the topic today is a lot of times families can break up relationships. And we're talking about how we navigate through families breaking up your relationship. How much does it matter to you that the mother or the father doesn't like your wife or doesn't like your husband? How do you navigate through that? How do you put these people in line? How do you continue to have a great relationship while maintaining family? Do you do that? Is family important to you when it comes to your wife or your husband? Or are you willing to separate yourself from your family if they're not willing to respect your partner? That's what we're talking about today. And I'm talking about my experience about how I see so many families, especially in the Black community, mothers not wanting to let go, mothers always wanting to have a say so, right? So if your mother doesn't like your wife, she makes it be known. It's a true headache a lot of times, and how the man in a lot of cases have to step in and he has to have order. He has to let his mother know, hey, you cannot disrespect my wife. And he also has to let his wife know, you cannot disrespect my mother, right? You guys don't have to like each other, but at the end of the day, you guys have to have some order of respect for one another, because my mother is always going to be my mother and my wife is always going to be my wife. But what happens when the parents say, we don't care about respecting your wife? What happens then? Now you're put in a situation where you have to choose. And the reality of it is, you should be choosing your partner. You should be choosing your partner. This is biblical. And even though this is a headache, so many people are going through this in day-to-day society. And they are really allowing their parents and their sisters and their brothers to break up something so special, something that God put together. And we want to talk about how we navigate through this. Are you willing to walk away from toxic family members? Are you willing to put your foot down when it comes to your partner, your wife, your husband? I can only talk about me. You know, I'm married, and my family has a great deal of respect for my husband, right? They may not think that he's perfect for me, but they respect him. Anytime he's around, in their presence, they're going to treat him like a man. They're going to treat him like a son-in-law. They're going to respect him, primarily because they know that I am not willing to have anything else be the situation, right? They understand that this is the person that I'm with. This is the person that I love. And regardless about how you may feel, what you may think I should have or shouldn't have, this is who I'm with. And so you have to respect him. They know this. And because I've already set the tone for my parents, for my aunties, for my uncles, for my brothers, for my sisters, we don't necessarily have that issue, right? We don't have that issue. Vice versa. His family may not care for me, right? But when I'm around, if I choose to come around, because that's the other thing. When we know that our families don't care for our partners, me particularly, I let my husband know, you can come or you don't have to come. You are not dedicated, or you do not have to attend these things. If you say, you know what, baby, your mama really, I don't know, your daddy might not really care for me, or your mama might not really care for me, I really don't want to come, I'm going to say, okay, no problem, because I don't want my mate being uncomfortable, and vice versa. If I know that his dad doesn't care for me, or I feel like, maybe his siblings don't care for me, I'm going to let him know I'm not going to that. I'm not going to that. And he's okay with these things, right? But when I do choose to go to whatever situation, He also makes sure that regardless of how they may feel for me, that they respect me, especially in my presence. And that's important. Your mate has to stand up for you. If your mate is allowing the disrespect, then you're doomed from the beginning. You're doomed from the beginning. Of course, the relationship is not going to be able to work because you're going to be doomed. You're going to be doomed. You have to have a level of respect, decorum. And I don't know what I just did here. I'm going to go take that right off. All right, we're back. And I want to know, what's your verdict? If you're tuned in right now, if you're tuned in, tell me, what is your verdict? How have you handled these situations? How have you handled this? Are you allowing your parents to cause issues? Are you allowing your sister or your brother to dictate how you love? How are you dealing with it? But let's talk about it. I like to go straight to the statistics, you guys. I like to go. All right. So we're going to talk about the Romeo and Juliet myth versus reality. The ideal that disapproval from family strengthens a relationship. A lot of times, what family don't understand is that while you're constantly putting out your negativity about your family member's spouse, it could be a turn in a relationship where it makes them get closer to one another, right? You're pushing them into the arms of that very person who you claim you don't like. A lot of times, if you force your family member to choose, they're going to choose their partner. You know, this dick and pussy game, it is extremely, extremely sticky. When it comes to relationship, the matter of the hearts, the matter of love, a lot of times when you make somebody choose, they're going to choose their partners. Every single time. We see it. We see people who haven't seen their mother or their father in years because they don't know how to respect their partners. We've seen it. We've seen holidays be destroyed. We've seen bonds be destroyed because people are choosing their partners, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Of course, we all want a relationship where the mother and the father, they like you, they welcome you. Who doesn't want that type of relationship? But it's not always common. A lot of times people are struggling with their own happiness, and so they don't want to see you happy. A lot of times people are struggling with letting go or letting people into their lives. And a lot of times that causes issue. A lot of times mothers don't want to let go of their sons. And this is why we have so many mothers who are coddling their sons. This is why we have so many what they call baby boys, right? Mama boys who don't know how to be proper husbands because their mother has never allowed them to be a man and stand on their own. This is why we do have so many divorce rates, right? You have some relationships where men have literally allowed their mothers to move in to their homes with their wives. And when they do, they come in and they try to take over, conquer and destroy. Next thing you know, the wife is filing for divorce because the man refused to stand up. Vice versa. We have women who are allowing their fathers to have a say-so, and the man is feeling like, well, shit, if you're going to listen to everything your father say, then guess what? You need to be with your father because I'm your husband now. I'm your husband now. So let's talk about it. Do you know people who are in relationships like this? Do you know? It says the Romeo and Juliet effect has been debunked by more recent findings. Instead, family disapproval today is more often linked to poor relationship quality. Let's talk about that for a minute. Family disapproval today is more often linked to poor relationship quality, meaning that the core of the relationship is not quality. The core of the relationship is not strong. It does not have a strong surface. So you're allowing any and everything to come into your relationship and break it down. When you're in a relationship, you have to become one. You have to get on the same page, get on the same path, and you have to understand that there's going to be outer people who are going to try to infiltrate your relationship. They're going to have opinions, but you have to be a team. You have to learn how to stick together. You cannot allow people to come into your relationship and dictate what's going to happen, how it's going to run, what it should look like. And too many times we're seeing people fumble. We're seeing people fumble when it comes to their family. How many times have we seen sisters come in and put things into the brother head about who he loves and who he should be with, and the next thing you know, he's not that in love anymore. He doesn't know about this relationship. He's shaky on the foundation. How many times have we seen this? We've seen it too many times. Let's read a little bit more. Through raw statistics, specifically quantifying divorce due to in-law conflicts and scarce marital satisfaction and stabilities are commonly undermined by in-law interference, unresolved disagreements, or blurred boundaries. Now, a lot of times, these relationships are crumbling because of the people who are actually in the relationships, right? So you get into it with your wife, you get into it with your husband, and you think that it's a good idea to go talk about it to your mother or go talk about it to your father. That is a no-no. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. That's a problem, okay? That's a huge problem, because more than likely when you guys fix things, your mother and your father is still holding on to the information that you gave them. You have to remember, they love you. They're trying to protect you. So if you're constantly feeding them negative things about your partner, then of course they're not going to like your partner. This is why it is imperative that when you go through things in your relationship, that you keep it within the relationship. If you want to talk to somebody, go talk to God. Go talk to your partner. Okay? Cut of Spoken Truth says that outside noise can be destructive. Absolutely. It can be extremely destructive. And you have to preserve your relationship. You have to preserve your love. You don't want to invite people into your relationship by talking about your mate. How many times do we see this? We get into it with our mate. We go on social media. We blast out what's going on. We blast out our personal business. Next thing you know, they're back together. Now people have feedback. They have comments. They want to put their input in. And now you're upset and you don't understand why they're in your business, because you invited them into your business. You invited them, right? We have to stop doing that. If you want to talk to somebody, you need to go talk to God, talk to your partner, go talk to a therapist. But the last thing you want to do is invite your family into something that is sacred, personal, and private. This is where we turn into issues every single time. And I want to know, what is your verdict? What is your verdict? All right, we have some more statistics, you guys. All right, it says the spouse's ability to stand up for their marriage and establish boundaries with their extended family is uber important. It's uber important. You have to have a spouse that's willing to stand up for you. You have to have a spouse that's willing to have order within a relationship. If you don't have that, the relationship is definitely going to crumble. If your spouse thinks that it's okay to allow his family members to disrespect you, if he's chiming in on the disrespect, then of course you're going to be the odd man out. Okay? This is where strong relationships are important. Having poor relationship with in-laws is a major relationship stressor. This type of thing can hinder the mindset. You may not even be thinking negative, but then they put something negative into your head and now it's on your mind. Now it's changed and altered how you feel about your partner. Now it's making you act funny towards your partner. These type of stressors can be the very thing that either makes or breaks a relationship. Okay. It says it's vital that both partners are on the same page about how much involvement or closeness with family is healthy. You got to talk about that. How close are you to your mom and your dad? Do you tell them every single thing? I mean, my God. Are you talking to them on the phone 24/7? because that can be a definite problem in a relationship. You're supposed to be building a family within your own space, right? It's okay to love on your family, but there has to be some type of balance. Balance is important. You got to set boundaries between one another, agree on what's acceptable, and then you have to, from time to time, communicate and have a united front. Communication is imperative within a relationship. You have to have a united front. Even if you guys are not on the same page, when you go out in the public, when you are around your family, you have to be in a united front. You can't be undermining what each other says. You can't be disrespecting one another, because then the people in your family are going to feel like they're able to do the exact same things. And of course, that's going to cause nothing but destruction. So here's what you have to do. You have to learn how to improve conflict skills. Learn to repair disagreements quickly. Don't let these disagreements linger on. That's a problem. Avoid contempt and lean into positive interactions. That's what we have to do. If we want to beat this thing, these are some of the things that we're going to have to do. Seek help early. When you see that this type of thing is happening between your family, between your wife, between your husband, you have to seek help early. You have to nip things in the bud. You cannot be passive when you see these things happen. And a lot of times we have passive people in a relationship who continues to let it happen. Oh, she don't mean nothing by that. Oh, is she going to change? She's not going to continue to act like that. Oh, my father, that's just how he is. That's being passive. You have to nip it in the bud. If you care about your partner, if you care about your family members, you must nip these things in the bud. Otherwise, it's going to continue to happen and it's going to start to get out of control. I want to know, what's your verdict? Tell me what's your verdict down here in the comment section, okay? Tell me what's your verdict down in the comment section. Have you experienced this before? Do you know people who have experienced this? How have you dealt with it? I told you guys how we deal with it, you know. If we ever do come to these things, everybody is not going to like everything about your partner, especially when it comes to mothers and fathers. They always feel like we choose wrong. They always feel like we didn't get it right. We could have done something different, right? But there's a respect thing here. Your mother has to respect you. Your father has to respect you. And in turn, they have to respect the person who you have decided to live your life with. When the respect is broken, then we have a problem, right? We have a problem. And I want to know, what is your verdict? We have some people down here that says, we got the Solomon 2:15. It says KJV version, take us, the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. Please elaborate on that. Please elaborate on that. Tell us exactly what that means. Now, a lot of people are not into the Bible, and they need a little guidance. They need a little structure when it comes to that. I want you guys to drop down in the comments, how are you dealing with the stresses of family members coming in between relationships? Have you allowed this to happen? What have you done to satisfy both parties? I really feel like this is happening more than we can even fathom. Okay, fathom. We are seeing this constantly. And a lot of times relationships are not able to withstand this type of pressure. A lot of times. And ladies, we end up single. Fellas, we end up back in the street because we didn't take that stand and making it be known that my partner is important. My wife is important. My husband is important. You absolutely can't do these things. You absolutely can't say these things, no matter what. A lot of times people are choosing their families and they're ending up single and alone. They're ending up just like their mothers and their fathers. They're ending up just like their sisters and their brothers. And I want to stop this. I want to bring some recognition to this situation, and I want to teach people how to solve these issues. What's your verdict? Tell me what's your verdict. If you're just joining in, we're talking about how Black relationships can be affected by family. How family always has their 2 cents. How they always have something to say. And how do you respond to what they have to say? Are you allowing disrespect or are you fighting back? That's what I want to know. I choose to fight back. And you know what? I've learned that since him and I have got on the same page about family, yes, we have to respect them, but we are the most important things, right? They know this. They understand that. We're not going to allow anybody to disrespect one another. You can't talk about my mate to one another. I found that since we've done that, we've got stronger. We've got stronger. Our bond is so much stronger because I trust him to protect me and he trusts me to protect him. And that's important. And then your family members start to see, you know what? Their bond is too strong. We can't even get in between that if we wanted to. It's nothing we can do. We might as well just let them be. See, when you stick up for one another, they end up having to, you might as well just let them be. If they can't beat us, they got to join us, right? And a lot of time, all of that talk that was happening, all of the disrespect that was happening, it starts to become minimal because you guys have stood strong in the relationship. And that's where you want to get to. You don't want to start to have issues within your home and take away the peace within your home because you're letting outside noises distract you. That's not what you want. You want to have a united front in front of people and when you're not in front of people. I want to know, what's your verdict, people? Tell me, what is your verdict? Tell me, what is your verdict? Has this happened to you before? Are you going through this right now? Somebody right now, their mother-in-law cannot stand them. They hate their freaking guts. They haven't been to a holiday since they got married to their wives. They can't stand to be around this woman. She talks too much. She always has something negative to say. She's always trying to influence your wife. And you just can't take it. You don't like it at all. And your wife hasn't taken up for you. Your wife continues to go over there. Your wife continues to make excuses. And your wife doesn't know that you're really on your last limb. You're holding on by a thread. And as soon as the kids get old enough, you are departing out of this marriage. A lot of people are going through this right now. A lot of people are going through this right now. And I want to help somebody. I want to help somebody. We got to learn how to stand up to our family members. We have to learn how to say, this is my life. This is my life. You've had your life. You've had your time. Focus on yourself. We have to learn how to stand up to them. We have to bring back respect. Yes, you may not care for them. You may not like them, but this is my decision. And if you love me and if you respect me, then you will respect them. That's what we got to start bringing back. I'm so happy you guys chimed in today. Today we're doing just 30 minutes of the podcast. We're going to try to do a couple of shorter podcasts because we know that people's attention spans are very, very low. So in the comments, please tell me, what is your verdict? Tell me if you're living like this, how are you going to prevent this from happening in the future? Tell me how you're dealing with it and tell me how you've overcome these situations. We're so happy that you guys have tuned in to the Verdict Podcast. We have more topics coming up. We'll see you next Sunday. Remember, when the judge is in, the verdict is out. Have a wonderful Sunday, you guys. I didn't feel like it.